Hello, from the studio in Nitro, West Virginia. This is Unreasonable Doubt. It's a podcast about West Virginia University basketball. I'm Josh Witt, and we're here. We're here at the part of the season where you dismiss the opportunity to make the NCAA tournament. And West Virginia made it to mid-February. Not bad. Not bad for a team that was picked in the bottom half of the conference in year one with a new roster. I don't have any notes prepared, just from the rip. And I think the 340th time I thought to myself that this was a must-win game for the Mountaineers, and I said it was a must-win at the end of the last episode, and I just kept thinking it. It must win. Gotta win this one. Can't look ahead. Gotta win the next game. And if you don't win the next game, and I've talked about the bracket or the bubble math of if you lose a game at home, you can replace that with a win on the road. I guess technically true. It doesn't feel like that right now. And when West Virginia loses at home to a team that's won one game since Christmas, 61-56, that's it for tournament hopes. And it takes some pressure off as far and anxiety as a fan to watch it. I'm not kidding. I almost recorded before the game and recording as if West Virginia had lost the game. Not great. I'm not proud to say that out loud, but we're in the trust tree. I just want to shoot straight with you. As a WVU fan, you see the rake, your foot is approaching the rake, and you just can't stop it. And what makes this feel final is that all of the ghosts of the season came out in this game. Missing open shots, going down early. This West Virginia was down 9-0 quick and West Virginia didn't break 10 until 13 or 14 minutes into the game. They got their 10th point with 6:28 left in the first half. So they went almost 14 minutes of basketball scoring 10 points. So the anemic offense, you had it in this one. The bad free throw shooting, you got that. The second half comeback, you got that. The being down 11 and then it became 10 and then having the other team stretch that lead out. How many times have we seen that? All that, these are things that we've seen multiple times this season at various parts of the season. And you got all of that tonight, and somehow West Virginia is only down 2 at the TV timeout. And then what happened between that last TV timeout and the end of the game, it just was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. The offensive possessions, and yet still under 10 seconds left, Utah misses both free throws up 3, and West Virginia gets the rebound and immediately throws the ball out of bounds. It just hang on and you hang on, and then the lights go out. Proverbial lights go out on the season with that sequence of events. I mean, and West Virginia played well enough defense to win this game. Utah, I believe, was 0 and whatever when scoring less than 75, and you hold Utah to 61. I mean, I don't know about you. When West Virginia pulled these wins, I consume their opponents' fan YouTube channels and other people that talk about their teams. And typically the second or third sentence that you'd hear after the Cincinnati win and after the Kansas State win, and I didn't consume any Central Florida podcasts or YouTube channels, but all of them would be like, West Virginia is not very good. And I would take offense to that. It's like, well, they're not bad. They're in the top half of the Big 12 standings. And I think after this loss, West Virginia still in the top half of the Big 12. They are tied for 6. There's 3 teams at 7 at 6. How is that possible when I'm saying that the NCAA tournament hopes are over for this team? They have a winning record in the Big 12 conference, and there's still 5 games left. But you can't help but think this, for sure, in the resume, is a bad loss. Losing to now a team that is 2-11 in the conference. One of their wins is against WVU, and they won on the road. They won in Morgantown. West Virginia beat Kansas in that same building and scored 80-some points. And after a reprieve over the weekend of breaking 70 against Central Florida, West Virginia gets back to their roots here in the last few games, which is struggling to score the basketball. Just rough. Like, I'm gutted. I am gutted. And I don't want to do a recap of the season because there's still a few games left. But here's how it works. And if you've watched WVU basketball in the last few seasons, we got a reprieve last season, but there's been enough losing seasons and seasons where, like NIT seasons, where there is like a demarcation line of like everything after this is going to feel different, even though on paper, they're going to play 5 games, and in theory, they could have a chance to win all 5 games. But how do you think that? And that's a logical take. It's not, the season's not over, Josh. Well, it feels like it. Oh my gosh. I mean, late start in the Coliseum. It's already weird, right? And then 65 trips to the Monitor. Just not that that's good for either team. Is it good when every challenge that was made by a coach was overturned the call on the floor? Does that mean the refs had a good night? But you would think that kind of disjointed, this game's taking forever, no flow to the game, would favor West Virginia. They did enough defensively to win this game. And they offensively, didn't turn the ball over a ton. It's just when you look at the box score and after you watch that game, the move for guarding Honor Huff is to put a guy with length on him. And they put a 6'6" guy on the 5'10", the listed 5'10" guy. And that worked. That worked. Honor Huff finishes with 12 points, 4 of 13 from 3, but and made some shots in the second half as he's been doing, but also in one of the most important spots, he gets his shot blocked. Saturday, he was getting shots over the 7'2" guy, and in the Hope Coliseum, can't get it over the 6'6" guy. Those are the breaks. Both are true. And offensively, when you're not making shots, then it's like, put your head down and get to the free throw line. And West Virginia was able to do that in the first half. And then did West Virginia make 2 free throws in a row? I don't think they did. Eaglestaff 1 for 2. Obioha 1 for 2. Huff didn't get to the free throw line. Floyd didn't get to the free throw line. Jenkins 2 1-and-1s. Chance Moore was 3 for 7. So they go 7 for 15 in a tight game. And it's not like Utah shot the lights out from the free throw line. They were 14 for 21. But that free throw shooting, which has been bad all season, and it always looks bad when Honor Huff doesn't shoot a free throw. Then you've got guys like Chance Moore, and I love the work of Chance Moore. Big Chance Moore fan. He did Chance Moore things. 12 points, 4 rebounds. But when you're needing points and he gets to the line, he's not great at the free throw line. 3 for 7. Not great. And Obioha had 3 fouls in the first half. He finished with 1 point, did not attempt a shot, which is not the first time that's happened this season. West Virginia's got starters that sometimes either don't score or they don't shoot a field goal. That's a thing that's happened all season from multiple guys. And Jasper Floyd, as great as he played Saturday, it was not great this evening, especially I don't have to say this out loud, but Jasper Floyd, I'm sure, and I don't know Jasper Floyd, that last 4 minutes of the game, he can't feel great about those last 4 minutes. And I don't know why I have to say that out loud. This team has been a bunch of good and a bunch of head-scratching bad. And that's how you get to a record of 16-10. That tracks. And Utah is now 10-16, but they haven't got blown out all season. And they played the top teams like West Virginia's played the top teams. And they did not get blown out by those top teams. And West Virginia did, except for beating Kansas and hanging and putting up a good effort against Texas Tech. But West Virginia, rabbit out of the hat against Kansas State, rabbits out of the hat at Cincinnati and at Central Florida. And we're not playing. This isn't the Prestige. This is not who can do the best Chris Angel impression. This is it's not that TV show where Penn and Teller are seeing magicians do their act or whatever. This isn't a magic show. It's basketball. And for the most part, you can give me an exception to the rule. But for the most part, you can't pull out the rabbit out of the hat every time. And yet, they were close. They were close tonight. It goes from 15, and the play-by-play guy was laying it on thick. Like, oh, this is right at the point where they made the comeback against Central Florida, and they had the graphics ready, and all the stuff of like, as an announcer, you just want a good game, willing to come back into existence. And it was happening. And it had some of the similar beats of the Central Florida game, where Brennan Lorient got the party started and got West Virginia coming back. But the missing piece was nobody could replace the Jasper Floyd points that came on Saturday. Nobody filled that gap. That was the missing piece of the comeback. And so, has West Virginia exceeded expectations even with this loss? Yes. They've exceeded my expectations. They still have a few games here, and they can still I don't think they're gonna go over for the rest of the season, and I didn't jinx it. I didn't jinx anything by saying that. I don't think they're gonna lose out. They've got some more wins in them, and even 1 or 2 if they get 2 more wins, then they're gonna be 500 in the Big 12, which new coach, new roster, to me, that is above the expectations I had for this team. So that can be true too. I can change my expectations for this team and eliminate the idea of them making the NCAA tournament. And it was right when they got, I said in the last podcast, if the bubble was Myrtle Beach, West Virginia's in Conway. West Virginia got to Myrtle Beach in the days leading up to this game. They were in 2, and there's like 100 and some bracketologists in the bracket matrix. They showed up on 2 of the bracketologist projections. 2 people that do this, trying to figure out who's going to be the 68 teams, had West Virginia as one of the teams. So that's officially, I wasn't trying to get West Virginia to the tournament. I was just trying to get them to the bubble. And from Saturday until Wednesday, West Virginia was on the bubble. Or it might have been shorter than that. And so there was a 2-day window. In theory, can West Virginia move back towards the bubble? Because they're not on the bubble now. Can they get back to the bubble? It's possible. Anything can happen. It's not magic, but they could, they still got the cards. They still got the top hat. Do they have to dust them off and break it out? Like, they could still perform a magic trick or two because they've done that. And to their credit, they haven't lost 2 in a row since they went to Charleston, South Carolina, which is impressive in its own right. Like, it has not been, in the Bob Huggin era, you'd have these winning streaks, and then at this time of the year, you might have a 3-game losing streak. And West Virginia, I guess they could get back to doing a losing streak again. They do have that opportunity, but to their credit, there hasn't been a losing streak, and we know that because they have a winning record in the Big 12. I think I'm going in circles here. That stunk. The game was too long, and West Virginia, they stepped on the rake. And so that can be true. They've exceeded expectations, which can still be true. And in theory, they have 5 games to get back to the bubble. What I'm not going to do is have that mindset watching these last 5 games I have eliminated that from my mind of West Virginia having an opportunity to make the NCAA tournament. And I'm allowed to do that. The team doesn't have to do that. The coaching staff doesn't have to do that. And I would hope that they won't do that. But for me, even if they win their next game, that was the line of the NCAA tournament. They can still play postseason basketball. They could go to the NIT. They could go to the Crown in Las Vegas. And I heard that's a wonderful tournament. The Crown. It sounds royal. It's fine. It's
Unreasonable Doubt is under the Smoking Musket umbrella. Go to smokingmusket.com. Read posts about WVU sports, daily throwdown. Check that out. Go to the Discord. We're talking about WVU sports and other stuff on the Smoking Musket Discord. Link for that is in the show notes. Listen to West by Pod, the WVU football podcast under the Smoking Musket umbrella. Do all that stuff. Smoking Musket.
The next game for WVU is Saturday, 5 p.m., back on streaming, back to Peacock, and West Virginia will take a 2-game road trip, and it'll start with Texas Christian University. And Texas Christian University, they were in the Eastern time zone in their midweek game, lost in Orlando. TCU, when you look at their stats, they are good at defense. They struggle offensively at times. They have good wins on their resume. They are firmly on the bubble. I believe the last time I checked, they are one of the last teams in the tournament, but they just lost to Central Florida, so I don't know if that puts them on the wrong side of the bubble. So they are coming back home, and if I've said it once, I've said it a million times. There seems to be a frog court curse. West Virginia has not won on the frog court with people in the building. I mean, they won there in 2020, 2021 season, but that I don't count that because there weren't a lot of humans in the building, if any, because pandemic. But it's been a long time since West Virginia has went to Fort Worth and got a road win against the Horned Frogs. And I blame the court. The court is goofy. And the ladies team just went there over the weekend, and they got swept by TCU. Shout out to the women, by the way. That they are still in the hunt for a regular season championship. They're definitely making the NCAA tournament. Tons of road wins, tons of just solid basketball played by the women's team. Coach Kellogg has the formula of bringing in ladies from the transfer portal and from high school and mixing them with people that come back. So he's retaining as well as doing a good job. This team this year looks way different than last year. Definitely worked the ball more inside. And they've been fun to watch, and they've got plenty to play for. And we'll see them in the NCAA tournament. So that's great. On the men's side, frog court curse. They'll have to break a curse to win on Saturday. And college basketball and how this stuff works. By the way, just looking at the schedule now, loss against Arizona, win versus Kansas State, loss, win, loss, win, loss. So if that's a pattern that's going to stick, then the frog court curse can be defeated. But also frog court curse. So which is stronger? The win-loss teeter-totter or that dreaded frog skin court? Which is stronger? We'll find out. That's it for this episode of Unreasonable Doubt. Listen to all the platforms or just pick one. Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Overcast Podcasts, Pocket Cast Podcast, YouTube. Until next time, I'm Josh Witt, WVU for the 2025-2026 season. They have 16 wins and they have 10 losses.